SunDaze.
I'm the illest host on the East Coast eating the delicious slice of buttered toast. And this is...
It's your boy motherfucking Fifth in the motherfucking building!
And today's special guest is...
The Hammer.
Yes,
Let's go.
Mr. Jorrington Fife's younger brother.
Yes.
Let's do it.
I like that setup, bro. I like that flag in the back.
Yeah, I like the flag in the back. It's just dope.
Yeah, you like the shirt?
Yeah, they missed.
I like it.
Love it.
Oh, shit. So, Joey, I guess to start off, if you have, like, we'll just do it the same way style we used to always do. Like, do we have anything we need to let the people know first? We'll kind of just ease into it. Is there any...
All right, so I recently dropped a new song, March 31st, called Concrete Jungle with King Handsome. It's doing some quite numbers on Spotify, to be honest with you. We're up almost at 7,000 streams on Spotify in literally 2 weeks, 14 days. So that's doing good. We also have Cracking Blood out, which is myself, Styles, and Weapon. Are you down there, Weapon? That's two episodes in a row. I don't...
Yeah.
What Weapon? You seem to be a little bit bigger than before. What happened?
You went wild,
And I became a conservative.
Yeah.
Democrat Dan.
Fascist Fifth.
Shit.
Oh shit.
But so besides music, yeah, obviously we got Crackin' Blood, we got Concrete Jungle, and everybody out there, please. I know we say this all the time, but pretty much every single major social media platform that exists, there is a SunDaze. If you just type in SunDaze with Styles, Weapon and Fifth podcast show, you'll find it anywhere pretty much.
That's SunDaze. That's SUN capital DAZE. That's that's like SunDaze.
Always the capital D, motherfucker. But
right.
And go, please go and subscribe to all those shits.
Yeah. Also, it's your boy. What happened?
Yeah, that shit. Oh, where'd he go?
Yeah, you can't. There you go.
He might just be glitching. Yeah.
No. I was trying to go into my notes to see if I could do both, but
no, it took your screen away.
Yeah.
All right. So to get on to the first topic is White House news this week.
Yeah.
With the White House news, let's talk about these trade wars that's been going on, because it's since our last episode 2 weeks ago, a lot has gone on with the trade wars.
Episode, by the way, sorry to interrupt you. This is episode number 48, Tariff Wars, with special guest Ron Beck Sr. No,
AKA the Hammer.
Yeah. Drop the hammer on your bitch asses. All right, yeah. So go. Carry on, sir.
So what do you think, Styles? We'll start off with you. What's your take in the last 2 weeks with Trump's trade wars, and what he's done, how he initiated the trade wars, how he pulled them back a little bit, and with China specifically?
So yeah, I think he's doing awesome, and trust me, I'd love to believe that he's just simply playing fucking 4D chess, which I think some of it he is, but I think some of it just happens to fall. Happened to fall the way that he wants, because dude, this is like, and he's doing what he should be doing, but this is a risky game still, even though we still technically hold pretty much all the cards with China. But the rest of the world, that could have went left. You know what I mean? So what do you make of it, and what do you think about the people who are saying oh, he's screwing everything up? Because I don't see that at all in any way, shape, or form. I think that's pure leftist propaganda, because no matter what Trump does, they're going to try to find some method of spinning it so that it's a negative outtake for him. Like you, I was a little concerned at first when I watched the stock market tank, bro, thousands of points. But if you pay attention to Trump, though, he has the art of the deal, which is his thing. So what in the art of the deal, basically what it comes down to is you hit somebody so hard when you try to go at deals with people, right? You when you had a deal at a table, you say, I want the most out of somebody else, knowing that you can pull back from that a little bit and you're still getting a lot, which I think is his plan with the world. And if you pay attention, the stock market started tanking pretty bad. Most of the world uses the United States as a centralized for economy, for the economics. They use we're centralized for the world.
a lot of we were going to tank the Asian market. We were going to tank the European market by doing that. So a lot of people decided to come flying to the table like, look, we'll do the reciprocal tariffs because you're going to affect our economy. The only person that decided to puff their chest up a little bit was China, and Trump didn't back down. Trump doubled down and put like 100%, 110%. Last I heard, and I don't know if it went through, he was talking about 150% tariff on China goods specifically. And then as of yesterday,
like 145 or something like that.
As of yesterday, the tariffs he pulled back on, I believe, were laptops and iPhones. The tariffs won't apply to those.
Why is that?
Get Ryan's take. Let's get Ryan's take. What do you make of?
What do you make of everything that's been going on in the last couple of weeks with tariffs?
I think the tariffs can only go in one direction. It has to go. Personally, I just think it has to go in the USA's direction. Trump has to stay one-on-one with China, and China can only go so far. I feel like they can only go. We can go way higher than they can because they rely on we're their number one buyer of everything. I think I have it in the notes. I think it's Taiwan, Japan, and one other country. That's 2, 3, and 4 that single-handedly couldn't do what we do.
So if you combine 2, 3, and 4, would that even equal what the U.S. purchases if you combined all them together?
No, I wish I wrote the numbers down as part of my notes, but I know that one did not equal 2, 3, and 4 combined, and
That's crazy.
It was South Korea, Taiwan,
right.
and Japan.
Yeah.
Those are 2, 3,
that's
and 4.
Why and that's why I say sure than shit. China right now is trying to think of what they can do to fuck up Taiwan. I know that for sure. Like,
if you think about it too, China doesn't really want to play this game with the U.S. anyways because China's economy is in fucking shambles right now. Dude, they're in free fall right now. You have to figure they have
about and people talk about. I guess for every American, they have 9 Chinese people, but they're aging out. They have too many old people.
Yeah, no, they're in a population collapse in the next 10 years. But what I'm saying is they have the biggest real estate bubble in the history of the world. These people have made ghost cities, not ghost towns, ghost cities. I'm talking about skyscrapers, bro, that nobody has purchased because nobody's in. So I watched a small documentary about this, and it was quite interesting that the China centralized government has propagandized their people by telling them to take the extra money they make and buy real estate with it. So they're buying into these ghost cities that now nobody is paying rent on.
It's just to help the economy.
It's just to help the economy keep going. That's a house of cards, bro.
There's no return on that dollar.
There's no return on that dollar. And that's a Ponzi scheme. So what happens is, for level 1, right, you get people to buy in at level 1, and then there's only so much resource there, and you need to create a level 2, but level 2 needs to be twice as big as level 1 to feed level 1. And then you need level 3 to feed level 2 to feed level 1. At some point, when you don't have anything else coming in, it crumbles.
Well, that's like the 2008 collapse.
I was going to
say exactly.
And that was one person.
The stock market. The stock market is the same type of sham. It really is. The only people that are getting rich off the stock market is the rich. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
Plus, bro, it's fucking wild to me that like something like close to 70% of Americans are working.
Is that a snake?
Are working hard like us, you son of a bitch. Was working hard like us and paying the fucking bills for the 30% that sits around with their thumb up their asses.
I know.
And the rich, like we make the rich, like they're basically playing a game of Monopoly on our backs, and if we all stand up and shake them off, it's done. But it's not that simple though. You know what I mean? Like,
no, there's more to it. But then the house of cards falls and everyone fails, and
that's what we're talking
empire.
about with China. That's what we're talking about with China.
Yeah.
To hurt us real bad, China would have to kill themselves pretty much. Like that's, you know what I mean? And you don't win that way. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I actually saw some shit because, dude, what do you make of all these? Just to get off topic a little bit, of all these communist people like who love China on social media talking about like, you can't do this to China. China will beat you in a war.
These are the same people that are siding with Ukraine. It's the exact same person.
Yeah.
Yep.
Facts.
Bro, your boy, me and your boy. I actually want to get him, bro. I want to get him on here on the next podcast because I actually want to debate him about the China-U.S. war. Now, listen, I get it. China is a threat. I don't deny China being a threat militarily, but however, your your boy Jerron was like, yo, they out-teched us. And it's an easy rebuttal. Bro, they steal intellectual property. They don't create it, so they're not the forefront in the thought of creating something. They wait for the person to create it, and then they steal it. That alone tells you everything you need to know. Because if you're not the one creating it from nothing, you're taking nothing and making something, all right, then you have the ingenuity, the fucking smarts, the technology to do it. If I'm sitting around waiting for person A to do that, then I steal it from them and then try to modify it, that doesn't show me that you're technologically ahead of us by any stretch of the imagination.
No, that would show somebody what kind of team you are. Like, you're just gonna wait for somebody to fuck up and then just attack them with their own shit.
That's, you know what I mean? So, but I do get, he does have a small point, and like, there's a couple areas where China has started to excel over the U.S. in the robotics area, the AI area, and even space, dude. They're outdoing us in NASA now. They're going to the moon, the other opposite side of the moon. When was the last time NASA fucking did anything? So there's a couple areas where China is kind of starting to eclipse us. All right, I'll give them that. But when it comes to military-wise,
yeah,
bro, when it comes to military, yes, they have more Navy ships than we do. They don't have more advanced Navy warships than we do by any stretch of the imagination. They're not even fucking close.
They don't create. They just
no. What they have, they falsify numbers. They have fishing ships that have a fucking gun on them, and all of a sudden now it's a battleship. No, that's not a fucking battleship. You know what I mean? We have advanced battleships. We have advanced aircraft carriers, bro. Like,
but peep this though. Did you know that they build? Do you know that they build? I'm just saying, there's some things to keep in mind, that they build ships way faster than us, and they build their fishing ships to military standards so they can easily be converted. I'm just saying, the stuff you have to keep in mind.
No. I don't deny that, but what? Ask yourself this question: how are they doing that? Because we gave them all of the fucking manufacturing that we had. We gave that to them. That used to be us. Think about World War II, bro. Like, that was us, manufacturing wise. And this is why Trump is like, fuck you guys, we're bringing manufacturing back. Here's something else to think about, too. Like, going to Jerron's point about, he says fuck China. Going to Jerron's point about a military battle with China. The U.S. is the only country in the world that's capable of moving a vast amount of artillery, manpower, guns, weaponry across oceans, because we have huge transport ships that no other country has. No one's manufactured those. That's why China would never attack the United States because they couldn't get the manpower across the ocean. But we can. If you look at a map of if you look at a map of like Japan, Okinawa, Philippines, Australia, we've surrounded them in bases. Where are they going, dude? They're surrounded. But
they're building lots of bases too. But you are right, dude. I already knew this, but I was watching this shit the other day and I've already heard this, like I said, plenty of times before, that says that if every country in the world banded together to try to invade America, they couldn't do it.
They still couldn't do it.
No.
We got fucking Mexico and Canada as a buffer zone, like basically trenches. And it's not gonna happen. Like, they just couldn't. They couldn't invade here, except for one thing that I don't like. Too many people now are inside here that shouldn't be inside here.
Yeah.
Like, I was watching this shit the other day that was saying there's these huge Muslim neighborhoods that are being built out west, right? And they're building them right near like police stations and shit, and they're building platforms that are high up so they can see down into like the police training center. Like, that shit should not be fucking flying, bro. I'm sorry.
I didn't hear that. That's wild.
Yeah, that's new.
So listen, I was gonna say to go to the Canada and Mexico thing, they could never invade from Mexico because Mexico geographically is too small. It's a bottleneck if you think about it. Canada, on the other hand, and I think China has started to infiltrate Canada, it's as wide as the United States is. So
I'll rebut that.
Yeah.
I'll rebut that in the fact that it's way too cold to be able to get from the north, you know what I mean? Like, they're not used to that shit coming down from the top. There's no way.
But the thing is, he's not wrong, because they are in Alaska and Greenland, China and Russia. And Russia will fucking get in that fucking cold.
Well, Russia would, but China wouldn't. You would have to go north of Alaska to damn near the North Pole. And you would never survive that trek coming down. It's way too big.
Not necessarily, though, because they could, if Canada allowed it, they could get from beneath Alaska,
the spot between Washington and
in Alaska, and come in that way and come down. If I'm saying that's providing Canada allowed it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is too is China is way more our enemy than Russia will ever be. These people are just on some Cold
I don't-
War bullshit. Like,
Russia's a non-factor now. Russia's a non-factor
that
now.
Russia's not a thing.
Yeah.
like,
I think
and, like,
China's
dude,
number
dude,
one.
The fact that the European Union, which is a fucking unelected tyranny right now, thinks that they can go to war with Russia by themselves and win is fucking hilarious. What I guess you guys aren't familiar with Napoleon.
No, but bro, they should think about this. No, think about this.
Win.
In logical thinking, they should be able to go to war with Russia. They should be able to if they kept their military to the top notch. It should have been. You're talking about Spain, France, Germany, Belgium, Sweden, Norway. You're telling me the fucking Vikings and the Germans and the Belgians and the Dutch all couldn't come together and fight fucking Russia?
Yeah,
You know
dude, that
how
was
we
like
say-
500
you know
years
how-
ago. They'd be able to handle their own.
But they stopped building their military up years
That's
ago
right,
and allowed the United States.
Correct.
And how we say-
That and NATO got involved, and the
Yep.
we, you know, how we back NATO and we're part of NATO, which we shouldn't be.
Pull out,
And
you know.
now they pulled back all their shit, and they're relying on us to fund their bullshit over in EU.
'Cause you
Now
know
they're
how we-
exposed.
you know
Now
how
they're
we always
exposed.
say-
Exactly.
You know how we always say what was being done to America was the pussification of America? They've done it in Europe. That's what the problem is. They've done it.
Yeah, that
Like,
objective
they're
is
putting
complete for
people
sure.
in jail. They're putting people in jail right now for posting on social media that they're tired of the you-know-who's graping and murdering and pillaging, and these people are getting put in jail for speaking out against it.
AJ,
I heard
That's
that.
the shit they wanted to do here. That's the shit they wanted to do here. We just pulled back on that shit. You know what I mean? We was like, stop.
all
All
right, so to move on to the next topic, let's talk about Doge. What do you guys think about Doge should be explaining themselves much better to the average American? And what do you think about maybe giving Doge a little bit of oversight and not giving them carte blanche to do whatever they want, however they want? What about a little bit of oversight? Ryan, you
know
first,
what?
since we had Styles last time.
And then Ryan can go. But when I wrote this 2 weeks ago, Doge was like, it's still very important, but it was much more important. Then it's kind of took a back seat a little bit to all the craziness going on and stuff. But yeah, what do you think?
No, but the
about-
point's still valid though. The point's still valid. What do you think of Doge maybe explaining themselves a little bit better to the average American who doesn't understand fully, and maybe giving them a little bit of insight?
So that's what I see as a big problem is not that, you know, we
Receipts.
understand what's going on. The common person doesn't. So when the common person sees these, you know, how everyone says these kids are 22, 23 years old and they're backed by Elon and they have everyone's information, it's like, hold on, you're hearing about 3 to 4% of the truth. They're like, yes, they are kids, and yes, Elon is behind it.
But they're genius.
Yeah, they're way smarter than anyone. Like, they say things that we don't, that typical people don't understand. Like,
The problem is that your average American wants the receipts, and I understand that. Like that's what.
yeah.
And the other question is, do you think Elon? No,
They need to dumb it down for the common person to understand what they're actually doing.
Yeah.
When they come up and say, we have, you know, just for easy numbers, $30 million in Sesame Street over in Iraq. It's like these people, they're like, yeah, okay, they don't find shit, and it's actually true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they need to explain it more. They need to get more in depth. Like,
And
That's
so,
what
to go with what you just said, me and him got into an argument with a friend of mine named Mickey Vick on Facebook about this, and he was like, "That's not true. That's not true." And the kid had to come back a couple days later to me he wouldn't go on the thread, but he hit me up on Facebook Messenger. Was like, "Bro, I looked into it a little more, and yo, you guys were right, bro. They actually did spend that kind of money on it, and it's because these people are." It always comes down to Trump. I feel like no matter what Trump says or does or anything that's related to him, it's an automatic. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
it's false.
And that's the problem.
Everything with those people is everything he does is wrong. Everything that Elon does is wrong. There's nothing they can do that's right.
Everything that Trump and Elon is doing is wrong, but they think that women can have a dick and men can have babies. I don't know. That's,
and the other thing too, to go back to what you're saying about Elon, right? You're like, oh, he has everyone's social security number. So the fuck what? He's the richest man on the planet. Do you think he wants your fucking $9 in your social security account, kid? Let's be
You can
fucking
have
serious.
my negative 24 cents out of my
Yeah,
checking account if
the
you
fuck
want.
out of here, guy. Most Americans don't have $500 in their account right now. You guys are
No
like,
shit.
it's just, bro, come on, let's be for real about this,
So,
man.
that's what I'm saying. That type of shit is buffoonery to me. Like if you're talking like that, and some people get mad at me, but I say, like, if you're talking like that, you're an idiot. Like, I'm sorry, and some people get upset about that, but it's just reality. I mean, I don't know what to say.
So back to the original question, I
Yeah.
think Doge needs to do a better job all around because, like I said, the common person does not understand what they're doing.
Mhm.
The amount of items they're finding and how much corrupt shit they're finding is too much for the common person to handle. Like, because what 2-3 weeks ago, it was every day, almost every hour, something was coming up, or even when Doge first started. It was constant, and it was just too much information for the, I keep saying common person to handle.
You know what I
It's
think?
it's just too much.
I think because most of us with half a brain in our head have always known that there was a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse in this government, but I don't think anybody ever realized just how fucking
The magnitude of it. It's fuck, dude. It's like
It almost sounds fake.
Yeah, it's so big, it's hard to grasp. It's hard for the common person to grasp. Like, are they into the trillions of dollars? Like, think about what 1 billion is, and then think about what a fucking trillion is, dude. Like these numbers are hard to wrap your head around.
1,000 billion is a trillion.
Dude, that's insane.
That's
and 1,000 millions, 1 billion. So 1,000 of those, bro. Think about that as it's almost hard for the common person to wrap the gravity of really what that is. But it would take you, I think somebody said if you counted, it would take you 16 days to count to 1 million, but then take you 32 years to count to 1 billion. And then we're talking about a fucking trillion.
Yeah, it was like 32. It was like 320 years to count to a trillion.
Like, dude, think about that as a scope, bro. That's annoying. Like, it's too hard to even grasp. It's like the universe. It's too.
Bro, the government talks. Dude, the government talks about $1 trillion now.
That's what she said.
Fucking a penny or something. Like, it's fucking mental. Like,
it's insane.
All the money. Think about all the taxes that we pay, all the bullshit. Like, people can say whatever they want, but I'm sorry, if we were spending billions or trillions of dollars on pushing straight pride around the world, there would be a fucking, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get all that. Why? If you're 30 over $36 trillion in debt, you probably shouldn't be paying to have your neighbor's dick cut off. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, over what was that? Yeah, that's fucking transgender in fucking Iran or some shit or whatever the hell that was. Yeah, it's insane. Why we spend any money at all, dude? And people are like, that's not even a lot of money. Fuck you. 30 million. Nobody, the common person barely even makes $1 million in their lifetime. Never mind 30 fucking million. I think the average person in America right now makes 60 grand a year, times 30 years. You know what I mean? On average, let's talk averages.
Hey,
barely over $1 million.
We could be if we were able to just keep our money. We could have been millionaires. I was thinking about that.
Fast.
Yeah, but that's a good question. I think it's in the notes somewhere. We'll get to eventually, but we'll tease it a little bit here. That's a good question because say you're a senator or a congresswoman and you're making somewhere a little over $100,000, less than $200,000 a year. How all of a sudden do a lot of these motherfuckers have? Elizabeth Warren's got 12 million. Nancy Pelosi has 120 million. Where are these motherfuckers getting all that money? We can't.
How does Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio do better than the top people on Wall Street?
Stop. Dude,
that's her husband.
Dude,
yeah.
That's why that dude got smashed with a hammer.
Yeah, they say that Nancy Pelosi's husband is a better trader than Warren Buffett. Yeah. Okay.
Not after his hammer incident.
Bro,
that's why he lost 30. It was 150 before.
Yeah.
I think it might have been something, some funny business going on there too. I think
it wasn't this.
That might have been a love is
some docking.
Hey, bro, did you know that she's Gavin Newsom's fucking aunt, Pelosi?
Oh, just to add more to the story. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. That's insane. That actually doesn't surprise. Honestly, that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't at all.
Because you know what it is? People don't realize it, but nothing has changed in this fucking world. These people are the fucking royals. We're the fucking slaves. Like, dude,
we're the peasants.
I hate to break it to people, but we're some of the biggest slaves on the fucking planet, dude.
Common day slave.
Look at what gets taken. Dude, we work ourselves to death just to keep the basics. Like, food,
and barely that.
Food, clothes over your head, a car. Like, if you really think about it.
And like it, goddammit.
You will eat and
appreciate it.
You will eat the bugs. You will have nothing and like it. You will eat the bugs.
The bugs has the protein.
I say no, motherfuckers.
Holy shit. Now, hey, what do you guys... Hey, Ryan, I'm going to come at you first on this one because you got the Trump flag in the back. This one's good. Is there any possibility in your mind that Trump is going to get thrown in for a third term? Or is this just the left being stupid? And is it even constitutional?
Who wrote that? Who wrote that question?
I did. I did because I've seen it. I've seen it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
He would have to do a lot of work to make that happen. But there's two different ways he can make it happen. Let me go refer to my notes.
Yeah.
He would have to ratify the 22nd Amendment, I think it is. He would need 3/4 of the states, 3/4. And I'm looking right now at the electoral map, and he would need to flip 6 states just based off the electoral college map. That ain't happening because every state that voted blue was a Democrat state. And obviously we know the swing states went for him. He would need 2/3 of the vote from the Senate, 2/3 of the vote from the House. He would need to flip 71 seats in the House, which isn't happening.
Nope.
That's to get 2/3, and he would need to flip 14 seats in the Senate to get 2/3.
It's not happening.
It ain't happening.
But bro, I like this guy. This is gonna be your new role here. If you're interested in doing this, you can be our numbers.
The statistician, the statistician guy.
Yeah, I like that fucking breakdown. So basically, what you're saying is the only way that he could actually do it is if he did it the wrong way.
Well, there is one.
Well, that would be the correct way to
The
do
legal
it.
way, yeah.
So there's the second way is that he becomes JD Vance's vice president.
Vice president.
JD gets eliminated and then offed.
Yeah.
And he gets another 4 years.
Oh shit.
But he wouldn't be
what I was
able to
gonna say.
rerun in 2032.
I heard
He
a
would
bunch
only
of
be able to
people
hold
saying-
out JD's
Yeah.
4
And I
years.
found this interesting. I heard a bunch of people saying, "Oh, if you can do a third term, why don't they do a matchup of fucking Obama versus Trump?" And actually, I was thinking, dude, that would be a fucking smackdown. Like that would be fucking hilarious.
I think Obama's time has passed. I think too much has come out with him after the fact.
Dude,
Where
people are starting to hate him, dude.
yeah, even though he was beloved. I mean, he is the first gay president, as far as we know. I mean, Michael.
Big Mike.
Even though his personal cooks keep on ending up face down in the ocean, I don't know what's happening. Allegedly.
Because they walked by the door and looked in, and they saw fucking Michael had a fucking King Kong dong.
Had a fucking
Poking through his dress.
It looked like a baby's arm fucking with a box.
Yo, people get so mad at me. People get so mad at me on Facebook when I start talking that shit. I posted a meme on Facebook a month and a half ago about Michelle Obama being a man, and the people that wrote back, dude, they were so fucking mad. And I said, listen, just go watch the Ellen DeGeneres show. She's out there dancing like this, and right in the crotch area, it keeps flipping up and down every time she's moving. I'm like, what is that, bro? What is that thing? Like, it was like that, dude. Seriously, it was like that. I'm like, what? What is that? Is that a clit? Is that the man clit? Like, come on, bro. Like, fuck, let's be serious.
Oh, that is funny.
I think I'm not, dude. What about the fucking president of France? Even though we're devolving right now,
No. This is good. Take this.
Dude, his wife has a fucking hog, dude. I'm for sure about that one.
Candace Owens came out with like it was either a 3-part documentary or it was just one.
She didn't get sued. No.
Because she did her fucking homework. You know what it was, dude? She was a guy in transition early on in her life.
Yeah.
But she's older now. So think about it. This transgender shit's been going on for a while, but all of a sudden now it's getting pushed in our face like hardcore. Because that girl, that lady's 40 or 50 years old.
Well, you know what it is? Of course dude. I say to people all the time, people who really buy into that shit, they seem to have forgot this, but it was like just 10 years ago that a trans person was a fucking tranny. Like, sorry to break the news, but like, I know it's always been there, but they didn't have the technology, which still they don't. Like, anybody on here, like, and I'm not a hateful person, but if you want to see what it takes to get those surgeries, dude, stop. Oh, do you see all these people? They're trying to hide this, but there's a lot of people who had the surgeries who are doing documentaries now saying, I fucked up.
Yeah, they do on detransition. Here's another thing that blows my mind is, why are the majority, again, more than 50%, are guys transitioning to women? You don't really get this women transitioning to guys. Yes, it is there. It is a portion, but it isn't the majority. Why is the majority one direction? And then what else you don't see that often is women who transition into men getting into contact or physical sports with real men.
Yeah.
Why don't you see UFC fighters that were women transition into men, then go fight in the UFC? But you'll see men transition to women and then go to UFC and absolutely bamboozle these fucking broads.
Isn't it? That's the wrong use of bamboozle, but isn't it obvious? Isn't it obvious why? Like,
yeah, they're fucking perverts. That's why.
How come?
No, it's because they know that the dudes can go into the women's sport and just absolutely dominate. They're gonna break records. They're gonna not break records. They're gonna fucking shatter them. They're gonna shatter them. That whole who was the swimmer that was on? Who was the swimmer that was on Rogan that got smoked?
Yeah, the girl. The fuck's her name? And she was outspoken. She was very outspoken about that.
She was even at the. I
want to
see the inauguration.
She was.
I gotta ask you guys a quick question. What do you make of this stupid ass defense that the left has right now on this topic of men, biological men playing in women's sports? Oh, there's 360 million people in this country, and there's only 10 trans athletes on the roster or something. Like, dude, what? Okay, I'm a murderer, but I only murdered 10 people out of 360 million, so I'm good. Like, that's your logic. That's your fucking reasoning.
The whole point of having Title IX, which is to segregate women's sports from men's sports, is because women can't compete with men in any sport. Yeah, biologically, like real women and real men, like by the traditional definition.
Yeah.
They can't compete. That's why there's a Title IX, because there would never be a scholarship handed to a female if it was unisex sports, because females cannot keep up with men. Again, even Serena Williams herself said, who's the number one ranked tennis player woman in the world, said if she played the least ranked guy, she would get smoked 6-0, 4 slots across. That's it. Her own words.
Imagine her going up against like a Roger Federer.
She knows she can't.
Which I think who was like number one. When he was around. I don't even follow tennis, but I just know his name.
She said it herself. She goes, the game's different. They hit the ball harder. They're quicker. The serve's coming fast. They don't have the reaction time we have. There's a slew of shit. Muscle death. There's a slew of reasons why they can't hang with us, and this is the reason why we have these divide lines, because men aren't women, women aren't men.
But it's
in hockey. There's no women that play hockey.
There's no one in football. There's none in basketball. There's none in baseball. Like, let's be honest. The
only thing the NFL can do is just push female referees, and that's about as far as that's going to go.
And that's fine. Okay, you want to put a female out there for go right the fuck ahead. Just make sure she has a nice round ass and some big tits we can look at on Sunday.
They can't even make a decision on what they want for dinner. You think they can be able to tell it first down or not?
Yeah.
Nah, but seriously though, that's crazy. That's crazy. All right, so we're gonna move. Hey, where's Kathy?
She's downstairs. She has a cold.
Is she in the kitchen?
No, she has a cold. She's sick. So, dude, have you seen these videos? Have you seen these videos where the wives? It's fake, but the wife is like in the hospital after like an accident or something, and the husband comes to visit and brings them like a container full of dirty dishes to wash.
Or a smorgasbord full of deli meats. Like, here, make my sandwich for me.
He said, I wanted you to feel like you were at home here. Oh shit, where we at?
We're gonna move on to some international news now. International news.
Yeah.
All right. So first topic. The war in the Middle East and the war in Europe continues on. Is there an end in sight? Styles, take it.
Dude, is there an end in sight? That's a good goddamn question, man. Because
so we have two wars. Break down each one. Let's start with the Ukraine and Russia war.
All right. So I'll start out with Ukraine and Russia. Yeah, and I want to say too, like, I find it strange that because of everything's going on, do you notice how little attention that war is getting?
I was just about to say it's been quiet for 2 weeks about that thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the other war though is front news. Israel and possibility with the Iran and shit.
Iran,
it's like, yeah.
Because peep this. Did you hear the fucking shit where Zelensky was doing an interview and he's making threats basically about like trying to kill fucking Putin? He's like, he's getting older, so maybe he dies soon anyways. But who knows? Maybe he died even sooner, not from old age.
Yeah,
Like,
backdoor threats, and the next thing you know, his limo's blowing up
yeah, and his
Yeah.
limo.
outside of a building he's in. That
Yeah,
was, I
dude.
believe, the day before Zelensky made that idle threat, like the day prior,
Yeah.
Really?
or it was definitely prior to that. It was a day or
You
two.
like that story?
So
International.
hold on. Now, I'm not hip to this. So he made a threat, and the next day, Putin's limo blew up.
Don't
Yeah.
quote me on that. This is somebody telling me this work, and I didn't look into it.
No, it's
I'm
true.
just going off of
No,
what
it's true.
it was like.
I'm not sure if
within
it
a
was the
few
exact
days.
next day. I'm not sure if it was
No,
the
it
exact
was-
next
but
day.
still,
close.
the story's true though itself.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. He said it, and then one of his limousines blew up, but he wasn't in it. Yeah, dude. That's what I'm saying. I get it. Like, I get it that they're not going to like each other, and neither of them is probably going to be totally happy. But Zelensky thinks that he's going to get whatever he wants, and plus, he's not in charge. The fucking unelected, tyrannical EU is fucking controlling this dude. He's a fucking idiot. He's an actor. That's why people don't know what the fuck. Sorry, I'm getting on a fucking tangent here, but people know what the fuck they're talking about.
Take it, baby.
Like,
Yeah, right.
Take
Go.
it.
Dude,
Go.
do people? Here we go. Do people realize? That the United States government went into Ukraine and fucking got rid of the fucking pro-Russia government and fucking put Zelensky there as a little fucking puppet to do what they want? Do people realize that? They clearly don't.
Common American doesn't.
And you know what they say when you tell them this stuff? That's not true. That's lies.
And then they put
Like,
nice little blue and yellow circles on their Facebook page.
Bro, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Ukraine.
let's be honest, and I'm not saying that fucking Russia. Like, I started to say to people, does it ever occur to people that maybe it's not just as simple as good and bad? Like, it's not just black and white. There's a lot of gray. Like, maybe have you ever considered maybe they're both fucking bad? Like, people are so fucking dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, all Russia is doing there is they're just making it so that NATO doesn't push any more. They're protecting their own. They're protecting their own things, just like we would if anyone was pushing on ourselves.
If all these communist countries were asking fucking Canada or Mexico to fucking join them and be right on our border, we'd fucking hand their asses to them. So sorry.
Absolutely.
Like,
especially after the treaty, after the World War II treaty, we said, listen, we will not push 1 inch east of the Berlin Wall. And look what we've done. Look at what the fuck we've done.
Yeah.
Now, however, I'm gonna play that. Let me play devil's advocate a little bit on this, right, just so we can get a little context on this. Putin, however, since the fall of the USSR, which is a lot of those buffer states that buffer where Russia is now. You have like Lithuania. You have like all those like Chechnya, Czechoslovakia, all those there buffer between the EU and what Russia is now. The USSR used to hold all that, used to be their territory. Putin has said from day one that he wants to reclaim Russia as the old USSR. So his outlook has always been he wants to reclaim those areas to make Russia the same Soviet power it used to be. So there is a little bit of juggling here with this. You know what I mean?
But hold on. I'll agree with what you said. But there was a line drawn in the sand after World War II that showed that this is going to be.
I agree.
Yeah, this is going to be what it is. NATO, you can't go past here. Yes. Russia, you can't go past here. These countries draw that line, and NATO, just backed by the U.S., thinks that they're just going to push. And every time they push and make another country join NATO, they throw more shit on that border to Russia, dude. And Russia's like, fuck off. You're not going to push any more territory on us at all. If anything, we're just going to. They want to join that line too. Like, fuck you. You're going to put military shit here. We're going to put military shit here too.
That'd be the same thing as your neighbor. It'd be the same thing as your neighbor next door comes over and starts
encroaching.
Putting fucking missiles right on their property, right on the property line and face your house. What are you going to do? Are you going to feel comfortable with that? Like, fuck no.
What do you guys
I would take that as a threat.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And here's another uncomfortable truth about Ukraine that nobody on the left wants to fucking deal with is that all those biological labs that they're doing some funky ass shit. The United States has got all those biolabs over there. And whether these people want to believe it or not, there's a big Nazi issue in Ukraine. Sorry to tell you.
There is. Yeah, there is.
They literally do you remember Canada was given an award to a fucking Nazi from Ukraine? Do you hear this?
Yeah, I remember early on in the war. Earlier on in the war, it was a big thing.
Dude, this guy, they call him the new prime minister in Canada, he hasn't even been elected yet, bro. That's another fucking tyranny over there, dude. What the fuck is wrong with these people?
Isn't he not even a Canadian?
Yeah, he's not. He's from fucking he's a pawn of the globalist. He's a globalist.
Transplant.
Yeah.
So isn't Trudeau though? So they have that school. They have that school that basically indoctrinates you as a child, brings you through the schooling, and once you've gone through the school, you are now able to be elected to these positions.
He literally said live on TV that he's very envious of China's government and their control on the people.
Yeah, because they're communism, bro. It's all centralized into one, which never works.
The Canadian people don't like that motherfucker, but there's a lot of Canadian people are pretty dumb though too. To be fair, you know what I mean? They're smart for not liking him, but they're pretty. There's a lot of dumb.
Yeah, but they elected him.
Do you know? I know. That's what I'm saying. Do you know a lot of these motherfuckers think that they could like hang with the United States like in a war?
No way.
Not a prayer chance in fucking hell.
That was a
bro, or the fucking or the was it? Is it Italy? Was it Italy? What country was the girl? The girl was a right wing, was a right winger in their country was gonna win, and they hit her with fraud charges, and they.
Yep.
Was it Italy?
What about Romania too? Did you see in Romania?
Same thing.
They knew the guy was gonna win, so they shut the election down. They didn't arrest him at first, but then they did arrest him. He got on bail. I think he's arrested again, dude. And the fucking EU has been saying, if any of these elections go the wrong way, especially France and England are the biggest offenders. Those motherfuckers are like, if it goes the wrong way, we're gonna shut any election down that's going to the right. So that's why I keep saying it's an unelected tyranny. To people who don't fucking know what's going on, it probably sounds crazy, but you don't know what the fuck's going on. Like they're literally supporting and protecting friggin' chomos over there. Like,
dude, what's going on with England, dude? Does England even have a culture anymore? Because I saw some stats for England. I think like 40 to 50% of their population now is Muslim. So is England, as we think of English, as tea drinking, crumpet eating, fucking proper walking, bro? That's like their culture is like crumbling, dude. They're not. They just cease to exist.
Going on for like the last 10 years.
Yeah, no, I know, but it takes time.
Being invaded.
That's what I mean. It takes time for that to happen. It's the drip effect.
We did, because a lot of people do not like it, but they just need to finally stand the fuck up. Like I'm hoping that somehow people are gonna wake the fuck up.
Isn't Andrew Tate running over there? I think Andrew Tate's running in England for fucking for electing government.
Anybody who watches this, look it up. They are putting people in jail for fucking memes. And you know what scares me?
On Facebook.
Germany is getting up to some fucking funky ass shit, and they shouldn't be getting involved in. And you should forever be ashamed. You know what I mean? And they're putting people. They are busting down people's doors in the wee hours of the morning for fucking posts that go against the government. Like that's not good, dude.
Now let me ask you this: is it the individual country, or is this the one world government cracking down to create the one world government?
I'm glad you asked that, because I was just about to say it. It's the so-called elites in all these situations that they aren't even the real
Klaus Schwab.
They aren't even the real big bad guys. Like the real big bad guys, we don't even know who the fuck they are.
Yeah, we don't know them.
They're paying these pieces of shit. They're selling their souls. They're getting rich off of selling us all out.
Dude, this shit's amazing.
Is there? I'm looking up on my phone right now, not to keep beating a dead horse, but is there even non-NATO countries that even draw a line in the sand anymore? Between Russia, it doesn't. I'm not like super familiar with that.
Like Georgia, if you look right, let me finish. If you look at like east of Turkey, you have like Turkmenistan, Georgia, that area there. I think there is a small buffer right now between current Russia and current NATO. And what really pissed off Russia too, and I meant to say this earlier, was even after the treaty, I think Norway and Sweden weren't part of NATO, but became part of NATO. If you look at where Norway and Sweden is, it actually borders Russia up around the Arctic Circle.
Sweden and Finland.
Finland, that's what it's feeding. Yeah. That was post the shit.
Bro, a lot of those countries are wicked. Dude, a lot of those countries are ultra progressive now. They got some fucking wild ass ideas, and that's the thing. I don't understand why, Why?
Poland, dude, you see Poland ain't fucking around with the immigrants though. That guy who their version of the prime minister, their president was like, we don't have none of this. There's like there's no Islam here. We're not letting none of these immigrants in. Our culture's our culture. We don't have half the fucking problems you guys have. Well, he came out publicly and said this.
Bro, why do you think places like why do you think countries like Japan and fucking China and shit, they don't fucking put up with this bullshit, bro? They don't support all this fucking nonsense, dude.
Even the Saudi Arabia, go to Saudi Arabia and try that shit. Go to fucking Iran and try that shit.
They'll heave you off the top of the building, just like with the gays.
I was like, just for being gay, dude. Woo!
Yep, see ya.
For the love of God, I can't figure out why white liberals want to turn the Western world into a fucking third world country. Like, do you realize what you're gonna live in? Like white people are already. Do you know that white people only make up 7% of the world's population? Like, yeah, let's just fucking exterminate ourselves. Like, what the fuck is wrong with
we are? But bro, the Islam country said they were going to in the early 2000s. The caliphate. They already talked about this in the early 2000s. The caliphate. They were like, we're not going to fight you militarily. We can't. We'll lose. What we're going to do is we have 10 to 20 kids per woman. We have 5 wives. You guys have 1 wife and have 1.2 kids. We are by shared numbers. We're going to wipe you off the face of the planet. We're going to integrate eventually. Yeah, and it's going to happen.
Bro, they're the enemy within. Like I say, I don't preach any hate. But if you just
this isn't hate, bro. This is numbers. This is stats.
If you just want to pick up the Quran and just take a peek in there and see what it says "fuck all of us" is what it says in there. That's what it actually says. Like,
which is weird because they're all you should know this. They're all Abrahamic religions. They all stem of the Abraham God. Islam, Christianity, Judaism. It all comes from the same. It's like a point. Abrahamic. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the top, and then it breaks down
because
to like honestly, Judaism, fucking Catholicism, Islam.
Well, I've always thought that in all reality that we're just a bunch of fucking idiots, and we're all really praying to the same God. And what God tells you to fucking kill other human beings for him? You know what I'm saying? I don't.
There's
a Satan God, yeah. The reverse, the flip of what it's told.
I always feel like the left like really does like fucking support that.
They do zero research, and they do.
Hello.
They do zero research. They watch no videos because that stuff is posted on social media all day long. You on YouTube and watch people. Well, maybe not, but people getting heaved off of buildings for being gay, and they just don't see it.
No.
And yet they want to turn here to there.
Yes.
Bro,
it's like the immigrants. It's like the immigrants. These immigrants leave these third world nations. They come here instead of assimilating to American culture. They want to bring their culture here and go. Didn't you just leave there to come here because here's better? Right. Why would you want to make this that?
You know what I always say? You know I say as an American, try going to live in another country and not assimilating to them. It's not going to work.
Watch what happens. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, you're gonna get dragged out behind the bar and beaten and left in the dumpster.
Mm-hmm. Like that. Or locked up and never be heard from ever again.
And I mean, you know, regardless of what you think of that, that's just reality. Like, you think you would go to a Middle Eastern country or something and just like walk up in there just fucking drinking booze and fucking eating pork? And
hey, I'm here, guys. Hey.
Like, even due to it
you
in the military. I have a bunch of friends who are in the military.
Practicing.
I have a bunch of friends who are in the military. They're like, we had to like pretend and like do weird shit over there, like just to not be rude and shit. And like, I do get that when you're in someone else, like when you're in someone else's house. That's what I'm saying. You come here, you're in someone else's house, motherfucker. You know what I mean?
That's why tourists, when they go over there and they act a fool, they don't come back. Next thing you know, they're missing.
Some of these IRL streamers right now, I kind of follow them on YouTube. There's Johnny Somali and what's the other dude's name? I can't think of the other. There's 2 of them. Johnny Somali went to Japan, was going live, harassing the people around there. They kicked him out of the fucking country. Then he went to South Korea. South Korea don't fucking play, bro. He started acting stupid over there. They're locking his ass up. And there's another one who went to the Philippines, whose all he did was it wasn't even an officer, bro. It was just a fucking security guard at a mall, and he took his hat off and ran with it across a pavilion. Came back and gave it to him, and they called it stealing and harassing people. He's facing 20 years in a Philippine jail, and he's American/Russian fucking citizen.
At the very least, they're gonna fucking publicly flog your bitch ass. You know what I mean?
No, dude, he's facing 22 years for like a slew of shit that is here isn't even a crime.
Hell no.
They don't play, bro. They don't fucking play. All right, so we already talked about China. Do you want to dig more into this? because that's next up on the topics list. We kind of went at it earlier. Or do you want to dig back into
You can
it?
make the call if you want to switch to something that we haven't talked about yet. That's fine with me.
We already talked about trade wars. All right, so let's go to domestic news then, since we already kind of talked about the trade wars.
Yeah.
Jury, watch the China, but yeah, we already talked about that.
It's all right. Just go to the
Where's the Jory thing come from?
because
he doesn't-
dude, he's so dumb.
He misspelled his shit autocorrected one time. Instead of putting Joey, it put Jory, Jory instead of the E, and then it just
Retarded.
stuck. It just stuck.
It stuck, and it was retarded. Yes, but
It was like one of those things. It was like perfect time, and we all laughed
But
about
it's
it. It was
Yeah,
just kinda,
it's funny. It's funny at that.
and then the Weapon-FiF shit, like it just got funny.
yeah. It just we kept playing on it and building on the shit.
Bro, Dan's name was Breast Milk.
Yeah, I named him breast milk one time, and it's just stuck.
And I was baloney tits. And I remember that one.
Yeah. No, you were stuttering, Steve.
Stutter and Steve, yes, that was part of it too.
No,
Bro,
I was fascist fifth. He was Democrat Dan. What were you?
Who?
We had fucked up names for each other. I was fascist fifth, Democrat Dan.
Paul, progressive.
Yeah,
Paul.
progressive Paul. Yeah.
Progressive Paul, that's good.
Yeah. Fucking Rhino Ryan. That's what we can get.
Yeah, he's the
Oh,
rhino.
Yeah, well, I'm not real. I'm
He's
a real
speaking
conservative. I'm not a rhino.
He's
Oh yeah, dude,
what is it?
that's good. Rhino Ryan.
Well, rhino's like a fake Republican. I'm not. That's not me at all.
Yeah, but I'm
No,
not fascist
no.
either. That's the
No,
point,
that's
though.
the whole point. That's the whole
Yeah.
point of it. Dan's not really a Democrat. I'm not a progressive.
I'm not fascist.
And
No,
he's
I
not
know,
a
but
fascist. No,
yeah, all right, yeah, no, I like
Yeah.
that. All right,
So,
I'm cool. I'm
Rhino
cool with
Ryan.
it's basically like the opposite of what you are. It's a joke.
that. Yeah,
It's what the left would call you if they knew you. If they're
We
like,
do a
oh,
lot of yes.
Yeah.
We do a lot of self-deprecating.
Oh, I should change my name then.
Yeah.
No longer the Hammer.
He's gonna drop
I like
the
that.
bitch ass. This has been going pretty good, though. I think this episode has been going pretty good.
All right, let me ask you this one. So we're going to go to domestic news now. Let's have a conversation and speculate about how much pain we think we're going to endure righting the ship. I feel like because we wrote this a couple weeks ago, this is kind of already re-corrected itself. But let's talk about it a little bit. And
Make it personal.
is this going to cause the average, like, what kind of pain is it going to cause the average American? And since Paul wrote this, his note to me was he's personally ready to suffer a little bit to set the shit straight. What do you guys think? We'll go with you, Ryan. What do you think about having to go with a little bit of economic and financial suffering to course correct the direction of American economics?
I think I'm ready to make it happen. I think it needs to happen. We've been backwards for so long. There's no way that, I work with a lot of people that text me because they know how I am, and they're like, "Oh, what about day one? What about day one?" It's like, dude, we are so far beyond fixing it in day one, and they're all about, well, we promised it on day one. We're just too far gone. Personally, I'm all right with it. I'm all right with waiting it out. I don't know, because I'm part of a union, I don't know if I'll personally see like any like negativity coming from it. Maybe. I mean, I work for a pretty conservative company in the union, but
Yeah.
that does private work. We don't do public work.
Joey
So people still
Joey
always
thought
have
he
to
worked-
spend money.
Joey thought he worked for a conservative company too.
We do. We do, though. Like, yeah.
That's what I mean. So when you work for a company that does like private work, not public work, it's a little different because those companies still have to spend money to get the tax write-offs at the end of the year. So regardless if we're slow or not, we're still like flipping work. So I don't know if I'll ever see something negatively, but I think we are too far gone not to we need to allow Trump to do his thing and not criticize him every day just because the stock market's going down. I don't have stocks in anything. Do you two have stocks in anything? I don't. It's irrelevant to me. I think it's less than.
No. It's not technically irrelevant though. It's so look at it like this. If you go back and look at how much did your annuity and your pension drop down in those couple days that it really did dip. However, it course corrected and now is actually higher than it was previous to the dip. You know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, like
people like us are playing the long game. I think that's what he's saying. People.
No. I get it, but I'm trying to for the people that don't. The people that don't, I try to grasp this in questions where people that don't understand what he's saying try to piece it. Yes. No, for the average American, for the average person watching the fucking show, like.
Yeah, I guess I kind of went on a little bit of a rant there, but I didn't really answer that. I didn't really answer that question, but I'm in it for the long haul. I deal with, like I said, I deal with people texting all the time. What's going on with this? What's going on with that? The day one bullshit. It's like, you just gotta wait it out. I'm willing to let that happen.
And I think people
I'm
take what Trump said too literal. When Trump said, I'm going to come in day one and do it, that wasn't literally him coming in on the first day and going to handle it. This is him telling us that this is a top priority. This is a top issue.
Correct.
I will get to it. But, and nothing, because, and like you said, we're so deep into this, nothing that we can do is going to get fixed in one day either.
Yeah.
Especially with the economy. Because everything you do now takes months and months to actually see effect. So this is a long haul game. We're going to see short term. It's like, I was battling some of these liberals in these Facebook groups, and they're like, what happened to eggs? This is like the first week he's in office.
Yeah.
Now look now. Food prices are slowly starting to come down. Eggs are starting to come down. Gas is starting to come down again.
But now they're not talking about eggs. You
know why they're not talking about it? Because it's not a point for them to talk about anymore. That's the problem. They don't have no basis. They thought they had some kind of like moment, they thought they had a gotcha moment when, hey, he's been in office for 10 days and eggs are still $10 a carton. Okay, wait a month. The guy hasn't even been in office a month, and a month later, eggs are now $7. Then they're $6. And
that's my point. That's my point to all the liberals. Like the people that I work with, it's like you just need to give them the time. Like they're ready to jump at a moment's notice to show his wrongs in a matter of a second. It's like, dude, you need to give him at least, I said 18 months.
Yeah.
To even course correct, let alone even start to go in a positive direction. And I work with people that are like 6 months, and I'm like, that's not enough time.
It's
he's
because
gonna fuck up more shit in 6 months. Then he's gonna fuck up more in 6 months. Go ahead.
That's what I feel like. Those people don't want to give him a chance, period. That's why they behave this way.
Absolutely.
And that's why if you just can't talk any reason into some people, like I just try to ignore them pretty much.
That's you and Evan, bro. That's you and Evan battling all the time right there.
Yeah.
What you're saying right now is a you and Evan thing.
Yeah, I get into it daily with this one guy that I work with, and it's like, dude, we're never going to change each other's minds. And I said, let's just you know what? We'll meet in the middle. You want to give him 6 months? I give him 18. We'll see what it is in a year.
Yeah.
And that's what I told him. I said, let's just give him the 12 months. But got to give him something. He always goes back to the day one. I'm like, dude, I didn't even think of it as what you said as like just a figure of speech, like the day one being a priority. Yeah, that's even a better argument.
That's what it is, though. But that's
no.
Nothing can be done in one day. Let's be honest.
Of course,
nothing can be done in one day. So it's a figure of speech. It's a way to try to Again, Trump does talk very well, so it's a way to rile up his base, being like, I hear you guys. I see you guys as problems. Yes. It's a recognition. It's a way to be like, I feel. It's a way to get us to vote for him. You know what I mean? But he's not like, I'm gonna do it on day one. All right. And obviously, and then he gets in office. You have to prioritize things. There's only so much time. There's only so much you can do in a day. So his priorities were like, we got to get these wars under fucking control first. We got to get these audits going to see where $1 trillion fucking dollars is going.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Tell me if I'm wrong. Trump has done more and spoke to the press more and spoke to the American people more in fucking the short amount of time he's been in the White House than Biden did in 4 fucking years.
Ever did.
Ever.
And nobody can argue that. And you see all this shit that's been coming out now that it was all that shit except for like a couple documents was electronically signed, and they don't think he ever had a fucking clue that it was even.
Bro, they had a reporter go to Joe Biden and say something on camera, and Joe Biden's like, I didn't sign that, and the guy was like, yes, this is you right here. Like, this is your.
That was the natural gas. That was the natural.
Yeah,
gas.
Bro, and he had no clue what he was. So who was really running him? If you think about it, for the Democrats, that was the perfect storm for them. They had an idiot who was completely not there, in his mind at all, and they could puppet him out here, like, go tell this to them, but in the background, we're really doing this. We're really making the moves. You can't do that with Trump. That's just not flying with Trump.
He was a very confident idiot too. You know what I mean?
But that's perfect though. And think about it. Put yourself in their shoes. That's perfect for them. That's like the perfect storm for them.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Exactly what I'm saying.
Are we still in domestic news?
Yeah.
That's the only topic I had for. That's the only topic he wrote down.
So, do you guys think that the tariffs are part of a bigger end game, and that end game being abolishing the income tax?
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say it. So
he mentioned that. He mentioned that.
Oh, he's mentioned it, but he never correlated the tariffs to the income tax. Did he?
I thought I heard something about him saying that if he could get the proper amount of tariff money coming in, he could abolish because you can't do it with states because the states are separate from federal. But he was going to abolish the federal income tax completely due to the amount of money coming in. That's what I thought.
If the tariff money overtook the amount of revenue brought in by income tax.
Yeah, by federal income tax. That it was something. It was talked about. I don't know if it's really.
He'd be killing multiple birds with one stone by eliminating the income tax. That would be the overtime one that he talked about.
Yeah.
For the hospitality workers and anyone who works overtime.
I was gonna say,
I hope he pushes that, bro. I hope that comes. I work a fuckload of overtime.
Me too.
I work a shitload of overtime.
I'm looking at it like from this point of view.
It would stimulate the economy like crazy too. Think all the extra money in your pocket. You'd go buy couches, TVs, fucking PlayStation 92, iPhone 409.
I paid 30 grand in federal tax last year.
Bro,
I could do much better with that than they did.
I'm fucking right. I feel like a lot of people.
No Sesame Street, Iraq.
Listen, I've been playing nice. I've been trying to cut in here for a while, and I don't really do that, play nice, so shut the fuck up. I've been looking at this from a point of view where I think a lot of people don't realize that up until 1913, that there was no fucking federal income tax, and that all the fucking country's bills got paid by fucking tariffs. Like
until that guy died on the Titanic.
And you would still have state tax. Like, how are we gonna get our fucking streets paid? Blah 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 blah. Like people just fucking like
that's excise tax. That's different.
No, but dude, don't they realize that there's federal roads and that there's state roads and that state taxes pay for state roads and federals pay for highways? And it's only so in the United States. In the United States, it's like Route 495 is a federal fucking Route 24 is a state. So the state funds they're allocated differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not the allocations are different.
I know what
495 is not an interstate, is it?
I think yeah.
What was I just gonna say? Do you know how many?
95 is. Well,
no, 95 is definitely.
You know what I mean? Because it goes from fucking Maine to Florida.
This is actually really important too. Do you know how many Americans don't know that the Federal Reserve is not federal?
Yes, it's federal. Federal Express is.
Yeah.
And that really is though. It's not.
No. You know this, right? Like.
Yeah.
The banks of the world own and run the Federal Reserve. It's not connected to the federal government whatsoever.
But it's not owned by us, but it might as well be because
I don't think I knew that.
They purchased the Federal Reserve has nothing to do with the federal government at all. However, they're so interlocked, it seems that way because they'll buy our bonds in order to give us a loan in order for us to pay shit.
That was awesome.
It's a Ponzi scheme.
Dude, I love learning new shit, and I love seeing people's face. Dude, his face, I literally saw his mind break like on the screen when
it wasn't breaking. It was just like.
No. I'm saying that happens to me sometimes too. Isn't that fucked up?
It is when you think of it, and like the grants get like it makes more sense.
It's a private bank. It's a private central. It's a private central bank.
Yeah.
We this country is a business, bro.
Yeah.
We're their fucking business, dude. Like, no, there's so much fun. And so many people do not realize that. Do not realize that at all. That's just
I for one am not. I didn't know that.
But he wants to nationalize it. I think because then they wouldn't be able to just. And he wants to bring back. I don't know how exactly.
Then we can audit them. Then we'd have the ability to audit them.
I don't know if you guys know. I know Joey knows that I'm big into like coins, silver coins, gold coins, jewelry stuff, and so I'm really into that stuff. Have you heard that he wants to partially back the U.S. dollar with gold again, and that's part of the reason why we're bringing all this gold back from Europe. The other reason is we think that World War III is going to break out in Europe. That's the other reason why we're bringing it back.
It is probably going to happen. I mean, they keep fucking around, dude. They're going to find it. FAFO, dude. Keep fucking around. They're going to find the fuck out.
I'm telling you, like people don't realize, like I understand. I see what they were trying to do. Like they were trying to like be like, oh, we're the best, we make the most money in the world and we're in the best position. So let's just fuck ourselves to help out all these other, like they're trying to like, kindness, choose kindness type shit. But dude, not to the point where you're killing yourself. Like,
we have though. No, to double back to what you just want to say, we have been for so long that now it's destructive against us. Now it's hurting us. And we have to retract back. It's okay to be a giving nation because we are the number one. It's okay to give something. If you have a lot, if you have an abundance, okay, give a little bit out to people that need it, right? But if you keep giving a little bit to a lot, you have nothing to give. You have ran your resources dry. That's stupid. That's dumb.
List, by the way, sorry, not to, but we're already like an hour and 4 minutes in, and
Are you on a time crunch today, sir?
Well, yeah, it's because Kathy is sick. I gotta go to the store and get some medicine for her. She'd been dying. Dude, everybody's getting sick with shit. We could talk a whole bunch about that at some point too. Like, what the fuck is up with all that shit?
Because we eat like bullshit. All right, so we'll go into the next thing then.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theories, Bigfoot, and UFOs.
Yeah.
So this next one, so if you watched a recent episode of Joe Rogan, I want to say 2 or 3 episodes ago from the current one that just got dropped, I forget the guy's name. He is the guy who owns the company for the topic I'm about to bring up. He brought back fucking dire wolves. There's an actual dire wolf that has been extinct for about 10,000 years. He brought it back, and there's pictures of him holding the fucking thing, and it's white. This guy, dude, it was one of the most interesting. Me personally, I like those kind of podcasts when Joe Rogan brings those kind of people on because it's shit that's like obscure that you don't really get to hear all the time. It was one of the most interesting podcasts I've heard in a fucking long time. This guy was talking about different kind of animals, but the dire wolf got brought up. But that was
because that was the first one they actually brought back.
Yeah. And so they're bringing back the woolly mammoth, but what they're using is the Asian elephant DNA sequence, and then they're filling in the sequence with they're filling in what's gap lost for the woolly mammoth
with mammoth DNA that they got from, because when they find them encapsulated in ice, so they say
the DNA doesn't degrade that bad. What you're saying?
They say you can't make dinosaurs because you wouldn't be able to get the DNA, but there could possibly be some way. But the question is, should we really be doing all of this? Should we really be playing God? Should we be? I don't know.
Well, that got brought up in that episode too.
Yeah, that got brought up. Did you see that? Did you watch that episode?
I listened to it. Yeah, I listened to it on the ride into work.
Yeah, it was a good episode, bro. I like that.
Because they were talking about the woolly mice, was it?
Yes, yeah, they injected that into the mice and made the fucking fur stand up and shit.
Yeah.
It was fucking crazy, bro.
One of the topics that got brought up in there. Yeah, it's a good one. One of the things they brought up was the God thing. It's like, and that's where you kind of draw the line because I think Rogan asked him about doing it to people.
Yeah, he did.
And he goes, and that's where the whole God thing got brought up, where it's like, where do you draw the line? And, but it is interesting to listen to.
Because there's a lot of speculation and conspiracy there that there's already being a lot of shit done in labs trying to mix human and animal DNA. Like they want to.
They've been doing that for years, though, dude. That's nothing new.
Super soldiers. Like, it sounds
super
crazy.
Soldiers. Yes, no, you're right. The super soldiers. With CRISPR, how they can splice your DNA. Take out bad genes, give you like certain abilities or certain genetic enhancements. That's insane, bro. I mean, we're on the cutting edge of some shit.
But it always makes me think, like, just like you would see in a movie or something, like, doesn't anybody ever think that shit can go fucking wrong? Just like the AI shit. I think about that shit too. Like,
no, but to what you're saying, it could be. It depends on like bringing dinosaurs back. I don't think it's a good idea. But what could be a bad consequence of bringing the dire wolf back? It's a wolf. It's part of the wolf family. It's a dog. It's a fucking.
Isn't the thing enormous?
Yeah.
Besides the fact that it could pounce on you and probably kill you in 2 seconds.
It could if you're unarmed, but we're at this point in technology, you know what I mean? Like,
we're not throwing spears anymore.
Yeah, we're not. Throwing rocks with slingshots.
Yeah, they're not releasing it into the wild though.
Yeah, no, true. And the woolly, I forgot about the woolly mice. That was crazy.
I think they're keeping them together by gender, too, so that they don't procreate.
They can't reproduce.
They
can't reproduce because they don't know what's going to happen if they do that.
Because they're trans.
Generations.
They're trans.
They should do it once just to see, and then keep the thing in captivity.
I bet you they do, bro. They just didn't say that. You know what I mean? I bet you they've got to be because we're curious humans, right? Don't you think we would do that to see? I wonder what happens if we splice DNA into this mice and now we let this mice and this mice fuck. What's the outcome of that? Is there a negative outcome, or is it a positive outcome, or what is the outcome? Yeah. I imagine they would. I mean,
we are Trump sluts, aren't we?
But yeah. but actually, the way I really meant that's funny because the way I really meant it was like Trump sluts. That's what I meant. I didn't know.
Trump ... sluts.
Do you remember that thing? Do you remember that thing I had before that it had American flag and it said "sluts vote"? I used to post it sometimes.
No, we don't want them voting. They all vote left.
Where are we at here? Because we need to wrap this up.
We're going. Relax. Jeez.
Bruh.
Ready? Now, what do you guys think about RFK Jr. possibly being compromised due to the comments he made about the measles vaccine with what's going on in Texas?
Nope. He's not compromised.
I don't think he is either because and
he just
what
I just had to ask. You know what I mean?
No. The reason I say that is because I think he's good because the MMR vaccine has been around way before this new vaccine was ever implemented. This is the old school vaccine, the shit that actually, when you take a shot, you actually don't get what you're getting the shot for. Not the COVID shot that's like, hey, I'm going to vaccinate you from COVID. Oh, but yeah, you get COVID after. So these are real vaccines, like the old school shit. Like, how many people actually get these vaccines? Like, again, Ryan, me, you, even Paul, we all got vaccinated for smallpox and all this shit. How many times have you got smallpox in your life?
Never.
Me neither. But how many of these people have gotten COVID? Have gotten COVID vaccines to get COVID? Paul, you can answer this. You're vaccinated. How many times? How many vaccines have you taken? How many times have you contracted COVID?
You guys want to hear something fucked up? You know how I just broke the news to a lot of people that the Federal Reserve is in no way federal. Do you know where they get the stuff that they put in the vaccines for, say, like the measles? I just found this out the other day. They take the fucking measles virus and they fucking poke it into the bellies of fucking cows at their fucking farm laboratory, and then the fucking boils that fucking grow, they pop them all and they fucking suck up all the pus, and that shit gets put inside the vaccines, and that's what you fucking get to get the live virus.
It's gross when you say it like that.
No, it's because that pus isn't. That measles virus isn't 100% anymore. It's been damaged.
I said it like that, or is it just gross because that's how they do it? You know what I mean? Like,
no, it's gross when you put it like that because it doesn't look like pus when they shoot it into your arm.
Right. But I'm saying, like, yeah, that's like almost anything. Like,
who the fuck? Think about this. Who the fuck thought about that's the Joey, sequence on how to do that?
Joey, you know, if you're trying to repair like a hole that somebody kicked in the wall or something like that, when you get done with it, even if you did it like a fucking Mickey Mouse fucking half-ass way, at the end you can't tell what's behind there. Like, that's you're getting that shot. Oh, it looks like a nice, harmless shot, but if you think about where it fucking came from, it's nasty.
Who in their mind thought about, listen, I'm gonna take this, inject it into a cow, then take the pus out of it, and that's what we're gonna use. Think about who thought about that. This is the sequence of how we're gonna do this.
Bro, that's fucking that's natural immunity. Really think about it. All that is natural immunity. I'm fucking.
All right, hey, so just to hurry up for you there, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Why?
Why? The fucking tick is at. We're at 112. 112.
All right, so let's talk about this. Hollywood. Why is Hollywood, or why does it appear that Hollywood is serving Satan and not something good, dude? Why is it everything so negative? Everything about them is cult-like. Everything about them is sexism. Everything about them is little kids. Like what the Epstein Island.
And also, if you look at young people, like when they first get into the industry, whether they're an actor, especially if they're like a musician, a singer, shit like that, look at them like a few years after they got in there. And they're doing all this weird shit. They have all these like red backgrounds. They're dressing up like fucking devils. Shit. Like, there's a lot of occult shit. Like,
Little Nas X twerking on a devil, dude, in a fucking music video, bro. Like, what the fuck? Are you shitting me?
Wasn't he dressed up as like a nun or something and shit in that? Like, there's a whole bunch of funky ass.
Bro, he had a pair of Jordans, a limited time pair. I don't know if they're Jordans. I know they were Nikes that literally had like a vial of blood in the fucking in the sole. You know how they get the bubble? Sometimes you'll walk on air. It was actually like a vial of blood. And they were numbered.
Was it his blood?
No, it was period blood from a real woman.
Was it his?
No, I don't know. I'm fucking around. I'm being facetious.
Bro, we should all get pairs of those fucking. I bet you they have those Trump sneakers at that fucking Trump store.
Bro, they're like fucking $4,000, dude. They were crazy expensive.
No. I'm not talking about like the real legit shits. Like, you seen the ones they have that's like a red, white, and blue. It's like an American flag. Then there's like Trump on it. Like, fucking, they have all kinds of different sneakers. I'm not talking about the real, legit.
The gold ones, yeah. Those fucking ones are no joke, dude.
Bro, but I'm saying that like that's probably when we start fucking. If you just start seeing me walking around town in Trump clothes, I finally,
You made it.
Because I support Trump 100%. But
hey, listen, we're only like halfway through this list. How what do you want? You want to jump around? What do you want to do?
We're
How much?
really
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you, how much real time do you have? Give me like a minute. How many minutes you have left?
How the hell did we? Man, we stayed on some shit for like. What's left that's good? Is there anything?
Eat those?
Yeah.
Oh shit! What did you say?
You want to? I mean, we can go into culture wars if you want. That's dude. You already went on the culture war rant though, pretty well. But the trans women.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to do that. We got tech news still, and then we got bros versus hoes.
Actually,
let's go on the bros versus hoes. It's kind of interesting here.
Okay.
What nowadays the new phenomenon, and this is something that my 17-year-old who is a junior in high school, I talked to him quite a lot about like what the culture is in high schools. I'm curious on. I see the culture out in life and how how the up and coming generation is. And Paul, you nailed this dead on the head on this one. I got to give it to you. The males in high school now are overwhelmingly conservative, and the females are overwhelmingly liberal. In high school right now, it's crazy. The divide.
And they have the statistics to prove it.
So not only has the propaganda from the United States not only created a race war between white and black and Puerto Rican and black and white and there's this divides. Now they're dividing gender. They're dividing us by gender now as well. Because now you have women, and so I guess I saw a stat that the average man, the average marriage is taking place at 33 years old now. And if you know females' best years are like 21 to like 30, 31 years old. That's their like prime time. And males' prime time are like 30 to 45. Yeah. So now if you're not getting married till you're 30, and this is also, if you look at it, you've seen more infant fatalities are on the rise now because women are having babies later in their 30s more now than ever before. So you see the shift that's going on.
Yeah.
See what's going on. So what do you guys think about this?
And it's all because of fucking propaganda, dude. Progressive fucking nonsense. It's all because we're getting away from what we've always known we are as people. Tradition, yeah, exactly. Like to the point where we're harming ourselves. Like,
bro, we're under reproductive rate. Like we're every Western nation is under the reproductive rate, bro. That's insane.
They're against
what's the number? What should the number be?
It's supposed to be 2.
You know what it is?
We're supposed to be 2. I think we're at like 1.8.
Yeah, it should be 2 or more, and we're under 2.
I did my job. I got like 7 kids, so I did my job, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I brought your average way down.
Yeah. Yeah, but you got 2.
Yeah, so I'm at the number.
Yeah, you're where you should be.
But I brought your 7 down to a 4.
Yeah, but that's fine though. We're still up though. We're still up overall. Yeah. That's what matters. You know what I mean? And you have 2.
And it's because they're pushing this shit about only fucking care about yourself. Everyone just only be selfish.
Yeah.
Fucking self. And women, the only thing you should care about is going out and having a career. And you don't need men. Like, I literally see shit where women are on like these podcasts shit, and they're like, men are trash. We don't need any men in this world. Like, are you retarded? Like, you realize we need each other, right? Like,
no. Those women that said, do they realize that the chair that they're sitting on, the microphone they're talking in, and the wires that are communicating all came from men? Men made this. It isn't women. They're able to take a shit in the toilet that doesn't backflow, and because men go out in the street and fix the fucking pipes, the electricity they're using the wires were ran by men. Like, you don't see women.
And I'm not saying that there are no outliers, like women who.
Of course, that's not absolute. What I'm saying is not absolute.
Overwhelmingly, still to this
90%, 90+%.
It's men. It's a man's world.
Yeah,
that would have been a good stat to have offhand.
But the thing is
it's in the 90s.
But like, we're both like, men and women are what they are for a good reason.
Yeah.
Like, it's not sexist. Like, I don't fucking get it. That's why I don't get it.
It's like 93 to 95% male.
See?
That's just trades.
Now, also, to double back on this, ready? We've given women in the 60s, so for 60-something years, women have had every right that we have, right? They're still, to this day, overwhelmingly going to nursing, going to administrative. They have all these opportunities. Every door is open for them. You can be what you want. They don't go to STEM. They don't go to, like, the trades. They do a little bit. I'm not saying this as 100%. But we've given them every door, and they don't do it. Still to this day.
They don't complain that they get paid less than men, but they don't want it. They don't want it, like we were saying. They don't want to do those fucking jobs.
No, even if they do those jobs, you know the problem is they don't work 60.
You said Judy.
No, but they don't, like, let's say, I'll use this as an example. This isn't absolute. This is just an example. Woman electrician and a man electrician. The man electrician's going to work 60 hours a week. The woman's going to work 40. Well, duh, at the end of the year, the man's going to make more.
Hello?
And men don't take off for getting pregnant either. We don't take time off for getting pregnant. We don't get maternity leave. So you add all this in.
What do you mean?
Yes,
Yeah, we
you make
do.
less.
Kids does.
Now we do. That's a new thing.
Oh, correct.
And most men still don't take it. Men will take a little bit of it. Women will take the whole 8 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it is. Men will take like 2 or 3 weeks to put it in and jump back in.
What about Pete Booty Juice? He took the whole.
Well, because he's a fucking.
Because he's a pee-pee boy. That's what he is. Where are we at?
We can go into tech. We can go into tech, or we can give Ryan the bonus rant.
No.
I don't have a bonus rant. We talked about everything that I wanted to talk about.
Okay, so that's fine. So instead of the bonus rant, and we won't go on that long about it, we did talk about AI a little bit, but let's conclude the show on AI and get each one of our what we think about it.
You want to go? Since we've been muting you.
Yeah, and where it's going.
Yeah, take it.
Man, okay. So basically, all right. So my concern is that I think that AI could be something good for us and could be helpful, but I think it's a double-edged sword, and that could end up being something bad. You know what I mean? And they try to act like it's unbiased, but it matters who gets the ball rolling because it's not unbiased. Because if you put those fucking things in there from the jump, which they are in a lot of cases, the ultra progressive left-wing ideals.
Mm-hmm.
Seen some of the stuff, right? If you ask it questions, for example, you guys will get a kick out of this. I asked Chat GPT to write me a story, and I purposely asked it this because I wanted to see what I said. Write me a story about a couple who starts their own business and it becomes successful. And you know what it spit out for a story for me? 2 black lesbians who it was all like an LGBTQ plus love story. And did you see that shit with Google when they had that whole scandal where it was showing all of America's historical people as black people, regardless of what color they were?
I saw that.
That's a danger. And I hear these people saying, especially people who actually do help govern this country, saying, "Oh, well, what if we could get AI to govern us? So then there wouldn't be any, human greed,
any bias."
Yeah, that would be nice if it worked, but what if it doesn't fucking work?
It won't work because you have to, in order for AI to work correctly,
they're gonna have backdoor controls.
People have to have input. You have to input the AI. Dude, I use ChatGPT a lot. I use ChatGPT a lot, and your input directly affects what you get out of it. You absolutely have to go into ChatGPT and ask things a specific way in order to get what you're looking for, or it'll give you these random random knockoffs.
And also, I think that AI is going to be connected to this social credit score type shit. And also, I even heard Elon Musk talking before about how he wanted to do this fucking shit. I was just talking to a couple of my other buddies about this. You hear when he's talking about
your friends?
This Neuralink. I know, it's weird, right? This fucking Neuralink shit, talking about a hive mind, about us all being able, yeah, don't get me wrong, it would be cool if we could talk to each other without talking, but I want people to read my fucking mind, bro. Could you imagine if we could read each other's minds? That's bad fucking business, bud.
Yeah, we know for a fact you'd be like Paul likes when Kathy puts 2 fingers up his ass.
Joe, you'd never have a job.
My God, the hatred of that man.
I'd be here talking, and you guys would hear oh, geez, I really wish I could blow these 2 guys right now.
Yeah. I really want to blow you get a word in. Yeah. I really want to blow the cheese sandwich I can eat on camera.
Listen, pull back, gentlemen. Let's get back.
Nah, but that's pretty much
thinking on your part. That's wishful thinking on your part. No, but do you think I'm right?
Yeah, it's a fucking problem. I mean, you can't have something governed. You can't.
Dude,
we created it. We created AI, so therefore
Oh.
this bias already inputted because we created it. It didn't create itself from nothing.
Right.
Where
So it's already
so
biased.
the creation, the starting point was already created. Starting point was already created from a biased position because it needed something to start from to build off of,
So
which
the
is human bias.
The big speculation right now, which I think could definitely be true, is that whoever wins the AI race is gonna inherit the Earth, and
It's
that's one
possible.
thing. And that's one thing that could make China a threat, except for the fact that they're
I
just
agree.
stealing the shit. They're not making the shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
No. See, with AI, I feel like with the AI, they may have stolen the groundwork of it, the basis of it from the
and
United
you can
States.
build on it, right?
But they're building on it in a much they've invested more money, so they figured out that AI is the future, and they're investing in it a lot more heavily than we are.
Yeah.
But what they're not realizing is we're building our military up more than they are. So it's like we can go in there and just wipe them the fuck out, and there goes your AI.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's
I think in the end,
a balance.
like I said, I feel like they could be a big pest to us, but some people think that they're just gonna like flick switches. And yes, I'm sure they can fucking cyber attack us, all that shit, but they're not just gonna
Can't
flip
we?
a couple of switches.
But
There's a
can't we
bunch
do
of-
the same thing? Do you don't think the United States doesn't have hackers that can go? All right, so
Absolutely.
let's give it to them. Let's give it to them. So like China goes and they fuck us up, right? You don't think there's independent places like
Bro,
NORAD and shit?
Fucking, even though they won't admit it, bro, we literally been blowing up fucking gas pipelines and fucking also we've been dragging the ocean and tearing apart the fucking cables that connect a lot of like,
You know what I mean? Like you don't think we don't have hackers that can't go hack their shit too? And they don't have the protections we have. We have a much better system set up for security protection than they do. It'd be a lot easier for us to go over there and if we knock them out, billions of people get fucking died because they don't have the level of living that we have. You know what I mean?
I have a quick short rant that could be like a question for the end of the show. I just asked somebody this because I was looking into it. You know how we were saying we haven't been hearing as much stuff about Ukraine and Russia on the news all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking into it and I was reading a bunch of articles and shit that was saying that fucking right now, Russian, North Korean, and now Chinese soldiers are on the ground in Ukraine and Russia. So over on this side, you got Russia, China, and North Korea, and they're fucking fighting on the ground. Ukraine, soldiers from the United States, soldiers from England, soldiers from France. What does that sound like to you? What does that sound like to you?
World War III.
I mean, but nobody seems to be concerned. I don't know.
Dude, I think that's a good way. That's a good way to end this right now. Just end it on a high note, like like that's a cliffhanger. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like
2 weeks from now, we'll get back into this.
Yeah. All right.
Ryan, I definitely want to thank you you were a great guest. You're welcome here anytime. If you want to become more of a permanent member, you're definitely more than welcome.
Nice.
Dan, I appreciate all the input you had, Dan, over here, buddy. Dan, thanks for all the input you had, bro. It was
Where
awesome.
is he?
Joey,
Where
you
is
gotta
he?
look into that, bud.
Yeah.
Wait.
We used to.
Hold on, I've got a good one for him.
What we used to do, we'd ask Dan a question like that, and he'd be like, and he didn't know the answer. We'd be on camera. He'd be like, I have to look into that. I'll get back to you on it. And it was like, it just became like a running joke on the fucking. Gay.
And then look at the bottom.
Weapon is a shit bum. Oh, poor Weapon.
So I think we can stay here for a second, but I think I'm about to sign out right now. And we've had one person watching off and on the entire time, and I'm pretty sure that it's
Aaron Rothwell.
Yeah. We were just so passionate on this episode.
Did she comment? Did she comment at all?
Shout out.
Did she comment? Did she put comments on the live?
I didn't see comments, I don't think, but I wasn't looking at comments. No, she didn't. I can put one.
No, you know what I'm saying?
Who's that new sexy guy on the bottom?
It might.
Yeah. I love his bald head.
It might. I'm not positive that because sometimes you know who watches too. Sometimes is my nephew sometimes watches. Remember I told you that, Joey?
And I know Aaron Rothwell just actually got out of the hospital. She had a stroke Monday of last week.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I was talking to her.
Vaccinated?
Feel better, yeah.
Oh, maybe. Ask Paul. Paul's been vaccinated 22 times. He has 9 boosters.
Yeah, oh, nice.
Yeah, I did get vaccinated a couple of times, but I think I might have got the placebo. Or at least I hope I did because I haven't.
The person who's been watching the whole time was Ryan.
How many times have you have you gotten COVID?
It was you?
No, it was my son.
Oh, your son.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I like that shit. Because my nephew is like
He's a little young for this. He's a little young for this podcast.
Who?
Yeah.
His nephew's like 10 or 11 or something.
Oh.
My nephew is, yeah. But so anyways, we can stay on here for a second, but to all the one viewers, signing off. Oh, and you know what I forgot at the beginning? I can't believe I forgot it after Ryan friggin' had mentioned it too. And Carral Cunha! Goal!